But if you don't want the app, you don't want another account, I totally understand. You can also find that time code at my Instagram account. I have an Instagram live feed playing with the time code. You can get that to that Instagram account pretty easily by just tapping my avatar here in the room, opening up my full Clubhouse profile, where you will see a link to my Instagram. It'll take you right there without actually leaving Clubhouse. You'll still be able to hear everything. It'll be, you know, totally fine for you, and then you come right back. We always skip ahead past the previously on, and there is a previously on this episode, both on the DVDs and on Netflix. So we always start at the beginning of the episode itself. If you've put your DVD in, or you're, you know, ready to go on Netflix, make sure that you jump ahead to 1 minute in, right past the previously on. That's where we are going to all press our play buttons at the same time in just a few seconds, or half a minute, I'd say. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but I have a comment. You're seeing Rory's back, right?
I am seeing
because I'm
seeing Luke's Diner's like little sign.
Okay. You're still in the previously on.
Well, no, because like I clicked skip recap, and I guess it's just like at the tail end. So I'm at 7 seconds. So I'll just go like.
You should see Luke's Diner sign. You should see.
Yeah,
You should see Luke's and
I
Lorelai's back
see it.
with
Jackson
and Cookie and little
I see it.
baby Davy at the table.
All I see,
Lala's. Yeah, Lala's.
All I see is Luke Steiner's outside sign, and I think I see a blurry Jackson in there. That's all I can really see, and I think that's Lorelai in front of him. I'm not.
Yeah,
totally
that's
sure,
what you should. Yes, it is. You should see that.
Yeah, I see it.
Great. All right. So first and foremost, I am going to hit my own record button. All right. Our audio is officially recording. And I'm going to go into the Remarcus app so I can get that time code going that I just mentioned. And those of you who have been here before know what we're doing next. If you are new, grab your remote, have that trigger finger on the play button. We're going to all press that button at the same time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This is a different Lala. Wow, this is kind of like I like that Lala.
The baby cooing Lala.
A little bit of a lullaby Lala. What's going on with
top of the yikes?
Wait, it looks normal to me. It's like the opposite of photo sun bleaching.
You know, if it doesn't work out, I bet there'll be hell to pay.
Good one. Funny. I love that he thinks his confidence could just make this work.
Positive mental attitude can do wonders.
Wait. Is this what I'm thinking it is? Yes.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Amen.
I thought it was later season.
I did too. I didn't realize it was this early.
Are Luke's comments legal?
I'd say they're legal, but they're definitely rude.
Don't private businesses have the right to refuse your service?
Right, even babies.
John,
Yeah,
have you ever had any moments of rage with your baby now, like what Jackson just did?
I don't know. I was just wondering because of the way he was like, I hate babies. Like, I don't know.
He needs a no baby sign next to the no cell phone sign now.
Genius.
Just like a baby's face with the red X on it. Although you really don't see many kids there, I guess. So maybe it works.
And the few times they are there, they're terrified.
True.
He's his own deterrent.
A long time.
Did Dean just make fun of his accent? Mine too. I don't need your help.
Just those long arms.
I feel like it's hard to move furniture with tall people. The weight kind of goes down to you.
Love how he's just walking around, gloating.
I think they would suffer that trauma whether or not they have the bookcase. It is Michelle.
These are the kinds of conversations I have at dinner.
I always say this because we have one. My husband bought an anvil at an auction a couple of years ago, and so I always say this like when he says something about his anvil.
I swear, Sabrina, we have to go to dinner when I get out to New York because I have these types of conversations, and it gets even more interesting once I have a martini in my hand.
Shelly, that sounds like fun. I bet he has a lot of good times with it.
I know. What do you do with that, Shelly?
I don't know. Metal smithing.
Anvil thing.
He was excited because it was only like $500 or something. I guess they can go for a lot of money.
That's a lot of cup of coffee at Luke's. I love this. I never really thought about that, but it's totally true, right? Like, where are all the anvils?
They're in metal worker people's shops. People still have them.
They still have them?
Yeah, people still have them.
We're going to be doing
one. They used to be around.
Melted down and
But they used to be so common that it's true. Like, kids would probably have known what they were.
Wait.
So Bob is joining his company. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah, they're buying his company.
But that means that there's a new character named Bob that's coming into
Keep watching.
Yeah. Sure.
I love that she calls them out on it.
Oh, yeah.
What was that thing?
I was letting John know his microphone's on.
Whose microphone? My microphone's on. Sorry.
I kind of like hearing their chip munching. It's kind of cute.
Sorry.
Do people really hide real eggs? We only do plastic.
Oh, there are plenty who do.
Oh, there are
Yeah.
plenty that do real.
I
eggs.
used to when I was younger.
Yeah, you paint them, decorate
We
them.
do
and
real,
then
but you
do
take
it.
inventory to make sure that every one of them is accounted for. And
That
the real
and
hunt
blow out
comes
the
when the
yolks.
adults have to,
You're supposed
you know,
to do.
find them.
And blow out the yolks too.
Kirk clearly has never read Charlotte Sweat though, because they have rotting eggs in that story.
And that was one of my favorite childhood movies.
Same. That's Bob, by the way, John.
That's a what?
Bob.
That's Bob.
Oh, that's Bob. Yeah, I figured that was Bob. Mr. Styles. What a schmuck.
Like a Kangol ad.
This seems a little weird.
Friday night dinner, he said he was available.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the girls?
I'm guessing this takes precedence.
This seems like it's going somewhere.
So
I
he
can't
just
see
said,
them wanting to get everyone together.
she
without
just said
no
it's
reason.
Friday, so Lorelai and Rory will be here too.
This is what we could talk about later, but always bothers me is that if their plans supersede Friday night dinners, it's okay. But if Lorelai and Rory have plans, it's not relevant. Always triggers me.
Yeah.
What does Rory's shirt say?
Poor Glenn.
I mean, that dresser does not look that heavy.
IKEA, probably.
I can't quite read it, but I can tell you.
Isn't it like a play off of This Is Not a Pipe, the Magritte painting?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that it's yeah. This is not a something.
Chemise.
It's
Like it's not a
yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, this is not a
Diana
shirt.
says you're right.
Yeah, this is not a shirt, which is a play off of the Magritte painting of the pipe that's called This Is Not a Pipe.
There was a movie that referenced that, and I can't remember what it was.
The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Good movie. This bothers me. This bothers
Yeah, I
me.
don't think she has a right to tell
No.
him all this. This is
Not at all.
crossing the line.
Yeah. That doesn't look that heavy.
Oh, trust me, it gets more interesting. I love Kirk's outfit in this scene.
This is so funny. He actually buried them underground.
Nope.
Poor Kirk, he looks so sad.
I know. That toupee is kind of growing on me.
Certainly not growing on him.
Love it.
20% for our day sushi.
I'm surprised Doki's has sushi.
Yes, we like to do it.
Too big, I said one.
Great thing about Kirk is he does the best he can, you know, and I just love that. For Kirk.
Agreed.
I just realized we haven't seen Lulu in a couple episodes, huh?
Clearly, he's busy with the egg.
Dear God, his voice might have been gone after that one.
Howard Dean.
Oh, yeah.
I would have a headache after that.
I wonder how many times he had to do that.
Now I gotta see if there's a
Running
blooper
and
scene for it.
zigzag.
Yeah, the zigzag run again.
The zigzag run is like the active shooter run, so you don't get like shot. Like that's so weird that they do it in the show for like just no reason.
I don't even think he has windows in this place. Is it like in a basement?
It looks like it.
Good point. Have we ever seen a window?
You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
It
ways.
looked like light was coming in from somewhere when he was cooking, and it was in the different direction. He was making breakfast that last
I
episode.
think,
Oh, there we go. There's a window.
Yeah.
There's a window, but it's the shades are really
I-
tightly closed.
I think when they showed the bar, that I think there was like a door, might have been like a door to a patio or something. I could be imagining it, but I thought when they were doing the little to the left, I saw something there.
Didn't she say it was next to your bathroom? So maybe, maybe they have to keep those tightly closed.
All I can say is I've always been Team Jason. I think he's good.
I think he's getting worked up over this dinner. Why does he care so much what his parents think?
Because it's his dad.
Yeah, he's got some issues with his dad.
Yeah, he cares what they think, but then he also wants to stick it to them.
And she's got the issues with.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Rachel.
I mean, the fact
Let
is
me-
he
I have to
has
think on
betrayed
that.
his dad by going in business with his ex-partners. I mean, that's pretty big time in real life. That would be a huge thing.
Well, I feel like with relationships, like regardless of like how much you want to stick it to your parent in whatever way, telling someone about who you're dating and they've never been too clear on like loving people, I understand why he's flipping out.
My husband has a theory on the anvils, the missing anvils. If I say end, we'll have to talk about it.
Yes, please.
That Jinx thing killed me.
Are these real friends?
Snyder's
Snyder's is real.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those
a
are
huge
real
technical
brands.
piece.
Goldfish, is that what that is?
Yeah, looks
Looks like Keebler's.
What is that? What is that here on the left? That's like hot sauce. That didn't look real.
Salsa, probably.
Salsa?
Might have been a
That
brand.
was real. We have it
It
here.
looks like salsa.
I mean, those don't look real.
They might be store brand or something.
But there's
What
more
store?
Snyder's.
I don't know. Everybody's grocery store has their own generic brand.
Ooh, you don't want to miss those,
Dollar
John.
Tree.
The lace backs are there on the right.
Dawn could probably clarify, but through research, a lot of times brands are
Cheddar bit,
legit,
cheddar
but
bit,
they
wheat
do
cheddar.
chips with paper
The
bags,
carnation
so it doesn't
is
crinkle
real.
as much for dialogue.
Cookies aren't.
Those are funny.
Yeah. Rory's starting to get mad at Lindsay. That's not cool either.
Oh, wow.
And she heard her.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Drama has peaked. Oh, you think?
Definitely.
This is my favorite scene with this.
Is he slightly sunburnt?
It looks like it.
His nose looks dirty.
Awful. Just awful.
Poor Kirk.
Oh,
My heart breaks for
That
Kirk.
was a little mean.
that was
Yes.
heartbreaking. And he even got some, like, the beginning of some lalas there.
Look at all those decanters. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Those are patios.
funny.
And look
How
at
many
Lorelai, that
decanters were
dress.
there? I only saw one decanter.
I love that she expects the moon to accommodate her.
Ooh, I have a feeling something bad's gonna happen. I don't know why, but I feel like something bad's gonna happen.
God, you have your radar up, don't you?
I really do. I have my spidey sense going, and I think that something bad's gonna happen.
It's like radar from MASH or something.
I don't know. The Floyd just makes me nervous. That guy makes me real nervous.
I think that's his aura. His vibe is just like, you scare me.
He just seems like dangerous.
Calculating. Why do they have that one?
Yeah, calculating, but more than that, dangerous. Like, he gets what he wants.
It's like I'm afraid of Lloyd more than I am Strobe, Chris's father.
Oh yeah, well that guy's just an ass. This guy Floyd seems dangerous.
He has like a serpentine kind of personality where it's almost too smooth.
Oh, what if Floyd is trying to get back at his own son? Oh, I'd really like Floyd if that happened. No, being sarcastic.
I think he just like thrives on conflict. Fortunately, there are people like that.
I've missed a lot, but has anybody mentioned that this kind of chop haircut that Rory has is not my favorite?
I like it. I actually have mentioned that I really like it. It's like, I like it considerably more than what we've seen so far. And I especially like when she does the flip with it. Like,
Season
flip
6
it.
and
swore
season
every
7 are
time
my
she
favorite
carried
hairs.
the flag.
Yeah, and I like that she went to college and tried something new.
I do like that too, but I guess that's just personal experience. The shorter it gets, the more it does what it doesn't want to do.
No, I
So-
think it's the opposite. I think short hair is low maintenance. I have long hair and it's horrible.
Short hair, you have to cut a lot more often.
Oh man.
I'm getting anxiety and I'm coloring.
I'm getting
everything.
anxiety too, especially with that line that Digger just said. That made me more anxious.
I'm coloring and usually that calms me, but no.
You're coloring and watching?
So scared right now.
I feel like I'm right about to go into a meeting with my boss, and it doesn't look good.
Brandy. Oh, that yes didn't sound convincing.
Huh.
I'm shaking. It could be also be the energy drink that I'm currently drinking, but it's mostly because of Gilmore Girls episode.
There's that
How
lamp
can you
again.
know what's gonna happen?
I know.
She's just promoting her new energy drink. I just realized that my Instagram phone died. For any folks that are on Instagram wondering what's going on. I have 3 different things that need to be constantly charged.
I hear you.
Oh boy. Oh dear God.
Mm.
And we have lip off.
Please stop.
Oh man.
But how does he know his financial situation? I mean, that seems like pure bluff to me.
Just wait. I knew something was going to happen. Didn't see that, but that was nasty.
Still going.
And his wife totally knows.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's gross is she played along this whole night. Like, ooh.
And said, let's never let the work get in between us again.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Yep.
man, he's nasty. That
He's deplorable.
he
Worse
is,
than
but
so.
he's also dangerous. That guy.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. Ruining lives.
Helps explain why.
He's good, but very evil.
Lorelai is shrinking.
Literally, she would be anywhere but there at that moment. It really is telling.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Are there no houses floating?
Why do you think the episode's called Tick, 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 Boom?
Yes.
To me, that's not lying.
It's a lie.
Yeah,
There's a way around it.
I mean, business is
I
business,
really
personal
still
is personal.
think that this is his father's doing this to his son. I actually think that Richard is being played.
You mean like Richard's a casualty and he's trying to just screw over Digger?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Hey, Amanda, your mic's open. Oh my God, I feel really bad for Digger right now. He is not in good shape at all. He is not in good shape, and I think Richard's gonna screw him over.
I feel bad for Richard. And Emily.
Man, this episode got really intense really fast.
Yes, back to the eggs.
And he's kind of walking serpentine because he can't stand straight anymore.
This is the biggest drama of the night.
Mrs. Slutsky.
Is that a reference to a movie?
I don't know, but she deserved that.
I don't know. He did look kind of scary.
I think he is my father.
I love Luke.
I know.
Me too.
I love Luke.
What always weirds me out is that scarf. Like, did he actually use that? I don't think in real life Luke used that scarf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm stupid as heart.
I love Luke Danes too.
I love you, Luke. Hey,
Yeah, I love Luke Dane.
Oh, I love this song.
Oh, I forgot
In
about
every
this.
window, it's windy. Which is Chicago, which is where he's from.
Everybody drives with their window down as far as Hollow, apparently.
What is going on here?
Why are you guys in an alley?
Doesn't want
Because Lindsay seems to be around every corner in these
There's
episodes.
a reason.
Not good.
Retro.
Oh wow! I just realized that this is kind of like the Richard Kenneland situation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy. My God, do we have a lot to talk about after this?
Yeah.
They have a fan blowing on her, by the way, just to give it a little bit of a wistful feeling.
Floyd would also know about the pension because it comes from Floyd's company.
Yeah, but would he know where he moved it or what he did with it?
Well, he has a PI, so.
No, but
Richard's
would-
doing something bad.
Richard would have to let the people at the pension know.
Lots of drunkenness in the last few episodes.
The more tense people get, the more likely they are to drink.
Yeah, they need a drink tonight.
What are you doing?
There is a reversal coming here. We're at 41 seconds. We are about to leave on a big, nasty cliffhanger.
Stop being a writer.
So just wait. Just wait. Richard knows what he needs to do. That was a bad swing.
Frickin' knew it. Oh my God.
Dun, dun, dun. What a lovely family.
On both ends.
They're so sweet, aren't they?
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's right, Mary.
They're
Okay.
so evilly 100%. Sweet. They did it to each other constantly.
Wow.
Wow.
There we go.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, ladies, they just got drugged
Hey,
through the mud.
ladies.
Why
What's
are you
going
drinking?
on? All
Who
right.
feels like, oh my God.
I'm-
It feels like they just
I'm-
got drugged through the mud.
I'm gonna open up the couch. I know we got lots to talk about. Couch is open. Yeah, feelings you can't explain.
Here's the Angel theory, just so we can get that out of the way. So he says that the population in 1850 was like 1.2 billion, and it's like 8 billion now. So they've just really, there's less anvils per person, you know. So there just doesn't seem like there's as many as there once was. So that's where they are. They've just dispersed amongst the 8 billion people. And they're in old guys' garages and stuff.
Got it. All right.
And also just like art form, because like I'm a fiber artist, my husband is a painter, his best friend is a silversmith. So it's anvils aren't actually like used these days because they have workbenches that accommodate the art form. So that's why times evolved. That's all.
My husband does a lot of old timey stuff, so he's interested in it. So I think people like that still use them.
Everyone, this episode was
Can I just say, I love the la la in the beginning.
Mhm.
We hear it very rarely, but it's a very sweet one.
And can I just
Is
say,
there a whole album just every Lala? Do we have like something
No.
or a YouTube
No.
that has done that?
Unfortunately not. We need
Thank
to make
gosh,
one.
no.
Carl,
No,
do
please,
that.
no.
We should get on that.
Carl,
And
can
And
I
you
just
could sing
say,
them.
sorry, that
I
Like
don't
Flash.
think
Huh?
business
actually
is that
has
way.
a bunch of
It's
them.
cutthroat. So I totally, I mean, it sucks, but that's how it is. I know, they're jerks, but that's cutthroat business. Every man for himself.
Ooh, that's
Are we-
in order.
Are we talking about the Lalas?
I'm sorry, I meant, I was
I'm
gonna
kidding.
talk about the last meeting. but then the
I just want to
Lala
say
thing
one
tonight.
thing. I do want to say one thing really quickly. I do think legitimately a really amazing singer doing a TikTok of every single Lala on the show and giving it a name would probably do pretty well.
Oh yeah, I'd watch that.
Definitely.
I'd love to see that.
Okay, John, where should we start?
Well,
We start with the eggs.
we got eggs and toupee. We've got Dean and Rory. I don't know if the dragonfly stuff is enough to really
No.
carve out. And then we have like really the meat of
Dinner.
it. Yeah, we have dinner. Yeah, we have dinner. Man, all of that was amazing.
It wasn't even dinner, it was just drinks.
Yeah. I mean, and also just, I mean, what's the name of Digger's mom? What was her name again?
Carol.
Carol, when she just walks out, just that very slight pause before she says yes.
Don't
Was
forget the
just-
bookshelf.
What's up?
Don't forget the bookshelf.
The bookshelf doesn't have much weight. No.
Well, it's the reason that
Funny
that
enough.
brought Dean over to the why
Yeah.
why else would he go to see Rory? It's an excuse.
It was the
Yeah.
uniter.
Well, yeah.
John, did you hear where that bookshelf was headed?
Hmm?
Did you hear where the bookshelf is going?
Where's it going?
Your apartment.
To your apartment.
Oh my God, it's going to our apartment?
Rory
Yeah.
asked Wayne if she wanted it.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. I never thought about that. And wait, do we use that bookshelf? No, because we have the bookshelf that's in the wall. Like that bookshelf never comes up again, does it?
It probably
Maybe
goes in
to
Lane's
Lane's
bedroom.
It's probably in Lane's bedroom, but still, like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
See, it's a major character.
Little
Eh.
thing.
Not really, but
Oh yeah, it is. But I mean,
Let us have our fun, Tasha. Come
Yeah,
on.
don't spoil me, Tasha. I think
hey,
it's
I'm
gonna be a
not
major
doing
character.
anything, guys.
All right.
I'm having fun. So
I know. We're also having fun.
okay.
So let's start with the eggs. I think the eggs probably makes the most sense. Just because that's mostly just talking about how funny it was and how sad and sweet Kirk was in this episode.
And Luke's a hero. And how mean.
He's about as vulnerable as he's ever been in the series in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Can I get
It
my
broke my heart. Poor Kirk. And it made me love Luke so sad. Tasha, can you please thank you?
Uh-huh.
Does anyone feel bad for Taylor like I do? Like, he was trying. And I don't know.
No,
Did you just say
all.
who feels
Nope.
bad for Taylor?
I do, because they were kind of mean. I mean,
I do too.
like,
They were
couple
super
shows was
mean.
Fine, and then, I don't know. I felt like Jackson and Gypsy were.
You're talking about the toupee. You're talking about you're feeling bad for the toupee.
It just needed to be gray. If it was gray, I think nobody would notice, or not as much.
Yeah.
Very dark. Did anyone else think that when Kirk, or I guess Sean, was like yelling that whole like thing to get everyone riled up, that it kind of seemed like he was breaking character like a little bit, or is that just me?
He was imitating a politician of the time.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like 3, so I
Because
don't know.
Lily-
Lily wouldn't have known that because she would not have been aware of the politicians at that time.
Yeah, I was like 2
that.
feet tall.
Yeah, look up Howard Dean on YouTube.
What politician?
Howard Dean.
that was the Howard
Yeah.
Dean. That's actually I don't know if that's what he was doing. I have to ask him about it, because that the way he counted and then that thing at the end is actually kind of a little bit of
Do it for the Gipper?
it's kind of a gun thing. Like it's something that I've seen him and his brothers do before. Like I don't know where they may have it from something else that I've done, but like it felt very specific to Sean, and that's probably because I've seen it before, or some variation of it before in like all the years that I've known him, and not just from him. I feel like I've seen that or heard it in that tone from others in his family. It's kind of I think it's I don't know. They may get it from somewhere. Maybe they got it from Howard Dean or doing it for the Gipper. But I'd have to ask.
I just looked up Howard Dean and watched a little bit, and like, yeah, that totally tracks.
Regardless, he inspired the crap out of me. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I felt like I was there.
Oh yeah, I was ready to dig.
But I don't feel bad for Taylor, because Taylor was just so nasty to Kirk, just horrible to Kirk. So I guess maybe that just dampens anything that I might feel bad for him in terms of his toupee, and also he's just so insufferable.
But maybe he's worried about the tourism of the town, because they were supposed to have the flower show, and then if they still had rotten eggs everywhere, so maybe I don't know, just the risk of not having that tourism in town. Kind of. I
get that, but like, you know, that Kirk is telling him, "I will stay, I will do it," and he's like, he's so annoyed about that fact that he just wants to hurt Kirk. He's like, "There's no men. Like, you've done this." So like there's like, at that point, it seems like everything that's coming out of Taylor's mouth has no purpose whatsoever. If he really wanted those eggs, he'd be like, "Well, okay, keep trying," you know. And even if he thought Kirk couldn't do it, at least there's a smaller chance. Instead, he opts for just hurting Kirk because of how angry he is.
I think he's using Kirk as a scapegoat, man, because this is all his plan. So like when it doesn't go perfected, he blames it on Kirk.
He could also totally be it could also, a lot of it be from the whole toupee thing, because people are just like constantly like giving crap about it, and finally you just can't take it anymore, and that was an easy outlet. Yeah, absolutely, good points.
Yeah, he was.
I think the meanness kind of like overshadowed, like, because up to now we've been kind of like tolerating Taylor, you know, oh okay, and he's just like quirky, you know, jerky guy. But I think this like took it way over that. It's like no more like a lovable quirk. It's like you're just a jerk.
That's how I felt. That's totally how I felt. Like I've been for a while feeling like he's sort of teetering on the edge of like loving to hate, and I just hate. And I feel like this episode he kind of went over that line, and I was just like, ugh.
So Shauna's been flashing at the bottom for quite a while. I just wanted to point out. I know that, Tasha, but Shauna's been doing it for a really long time.
So why don't we go Shauna and then we go Tasha?
I'm done.
And Tanya was flashing, I think.
Yeah, we'll do Shauna, then Tasha, then Tanya.
No, I don't need to speak. I'm done.
Okay,
no,
then
Tasha,
we'll go.
go
Then we'll go.
speak,
Then we'll go.
okay?
Then we will go Shauna, and then we will go Tanya.
Oh, go ahead, Tasha, while my dogs are barking.
No, I'm done.
Tanya.
Oh, hi. Good evening. Good night, everyone. What I love about this storyline is I love how Luke is so protective of Kirk, even though he drives him nuts. He felt so bad for him that he went and looked for the eggs. I love that part. And you can see in other times that how protective Luke it is. I loved it. It was so funny. I love this storyline about the eggs and Kirk. I love Kirk. He's one of my favorites. That's all. Thank you, guys.
I have a question. Why did Luke say I'm stupid? Why? What was?
Because of Kirk's declaration of love in the middle of the town for him.
Yeah, he's
Oh. That he's stupid. Like I gave it to him, and of course,
right.
I should have expected that he would do that in front of the whole house.
Here, you take the credit, you bring it, you give it to him. It's all on you, and then he just starts screaming, "I love you" at the top of his lungs. So he just like, why did I even try?
I think it's because he's like, I keep getting sucked into this, and it always backfires on me. Like it's like he wanted to do it quietly and have it be done with, and he didn't. It wasn't quiet.
Luke has that tough exterior, and, you know, like soft inside, and then like, oh, the soft inside slipped out. I gotta patch it back up.
Yeah.
I really see Luke and Kirk as like a brotherly relationship in some way, and it's really, really sweet. Absolutely.
Good observation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay if I talk now?
Absolutely.
They calm down. Yeah. So I think that Tyler was.
Don't worry, Shauna. I'm with you. I've got dogs, so I'm totally sympathetic.
The dog is
no. Go ahead. The dog might have something. Your dog might have something that he or she wants to add.
Okay, so I think Tyler was completely out of line when he treated Kirk. You know, I mean, he put Kirk in charge, and yeah, he might have messed up by not making the map, but still, you know, I mean, you got to expect some kind of hijinks out of Kirk at some point in time. You know, I mean, something silly is always going to happen when Kirk's involved. So, you know, I mean, maybe he should have had somebody kind of like looking after Kirk instead of just giving him the whole entire thing, you know, and then it would have saved some aggravation, you know. I mean, but I mean, he was completely out of line. And also, that whole scene where Jason and Richard were in Richard's office and we see the oil painting of Lori. I don't know what came over me, but I instantly thought, I wonder if Alexa ended up with that oil painting. Like she took that from or she was given that when the show was over. I don't know, it just came over me.
I missed that last part. I didn't. What exactly did you think Alexis took?
The picture of her on Richard's studio.
The oil painting. Of Lori.
Oh.
Are you talking about the painting in Richard's office, Shauna?
Yeah.
Alexis taking it home?
Yeah, possibly. That's what I was.
She's wondering if maybe Alexis took it home after they were done. I see.
Okay. I don't know. That's something to ask Valerie next time she's here. I'd be curious to know. I mean, I don't know how many things people took from the show. Typically, you aren't allowed to take things from the show. I know that like bigger, you know, like you know, the leads of a show might have some pull and they can take home, you know, something really important. You know, certainly in movies that happens a lot more, but in television, a lot of that stuff comes from a central storage at the studio. Warner Brothers has its own costume storage with lots and lots of costumes, and the costumers and the costume designers sometimes go in there and find stuff from there, which means they have to return it. So you can't actually take some of the stuff. But, you know, something like a painting of her, that also goes for set pieces as well, like lots of set, like that's how a studio has everything that it ever needs, right? Like the set people can just go into a storage room and find on shelves all the things that they need to build a house. So if people are taking those things afterwards, it hurts future productions. They'd have to build everything from scratch or buy things new. And so a painting of an actor, probably that could indeed actually go to the actor because it would probably never be used again. I know I took small things, like I took my like guitar picks, and then I mentioned that some of us took t-shirts, the Hep Alien t-shirts and Hep Alien hats from a future episode that I won't spoil on. But again, like that'll never be used again, right? And that was made specifically for the episode. So in terms of like props and costumes that you could take home, for the most part, it would only be things like that, like things that would never ever be used again. Unless, like I said, unless you're like a star and maybe you had some sway. I could see that. Tiffany.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Shauna, you totally made me think of something. I think that Taylor purposely put him in charge because he knew he would mess up, because he was going away and he didn't want someone to do a better job than him, because he likes to be in control. So he could say, look, you messed up and I wanted to go away just this minute, and I'm so, you guys need me in this town. So I think maybe he set him up for it.
Yeah, but who else wants to help Taylor? I think everyone's kind of annoyed at Taylor, and Kirk is probably the only one who wouldn't say no. And probably Taylor has a pretty stringent agenda of what Kirk would need to do, or that person. So I feel like Kirk would be the only one to step up and actually do it, because everyone else would be like, oh, Taylor, and roll their eyes.
I know, but by that logic, you would think that Taylor would be, that Taylor would want to make sure that he doesn't lose Kirk, so to like completely berate Kirk there at the very end seems counterintuitive, unless the idea is like, if he keeps him broken down, he keeps him in a place like of little power, and then, can always kind of draw from him. Actually, that makes more sense.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, Kirk isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, Kirk isn't going anywhere, and the more that he disempowers him, the more he's likely to be there for him if he needs him, right? Like if you tell a person like you're worthless, and it's all your fault, right? Then especially if they feel so horrible that they let you down, then like when you need something done, you can just be like, okay, I need you to do this for me. And they'll be like, oh, definitely. I want to make it up to you. That seems like something Taylor would do. Right.
Oh, sure.
I feel like considering what Kirk said at the end there, well, I mean, he was delirious and hadn't slept, so he probably didn't know what he was saying. But with what Kirk said at the end, where he was like, he's like my father. He probably is my father. And Luke was like, he's not your father. He's like, yeah, my father's my father. But I feel like Kirk, he has, obviously, I think we've touched on this before, kind of like a child-like mentality in a grown man's body. And I think like maybe he sees Taylor as like a father figure. And so with him effing up with the Easter eggs and then not being able to find them, he kind of feels like he let his father down, quote unquote. And so him like being like all gung-ho, like we're gonna find him, and then Taylor basically losing it on him, that was like kind of like a father losing it on like his child. And so I feel like that's what Kirk feels like in this episode. It's like, I let my father down, because we never actually see who Kirk's father is. And so this is Taylor's kind of like that to Kirk, and Luke's kind of like the brother where it's like, okay, here, go make things right. Here we go.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but could it have been he was just angry? Like that it wasn't all this, trying to keep the power balanced or keep him under whatever. He was just angry.
I thought maybe he was hangry because he was in there for a sandwich and he never got that.
Yeah, but wait a second.
I know that's what I don't understand is because clearly Kirk had a single mother because he never talks about his father. And same with Lane, which in the after series is kind of different.
Spoilers.
No. Oh shit. Okay, sorry.
No problem. I would say though, I definitely think he's angry. There's no question about that. The thing is that why is he being so incredibly harsh on the only person that he has left? And that seems to not make any sense. And Taylor doesn't strike me as the type of person that when he gets angry, he doesn't have, like, Taylor's a calculating guy. He's always got his little plan. He's got a few chess moves ahead. He doesn't strike me as somebody who he gets angry and he becomes completely irrational. He strikes me as I get angry and then I get spiteful, and the spite like is sort of part of a larger game strategy. And so for him to like attack Kirk, the only person that he's got right there, it seemed, I don't know, it feels to me like there would be some degree of power that he's doing over him. But I mean, I agree with you. I think he's angry, but like, but I think that he's also pulling the power out of somebody who he may need in the future.
Speaking of power, Harvest, can we talk about the real power struggle?
Yeah. Wait, do we switch to that, or should we talk about?
Can I make a comment really quick?
Yeah.
Valerie's live on TikTok right now. I went and asked her about.
Wait, is Valerie doing the Lalas, like all of the Lalas from the series and naming them?
No, she was talking to somebody, but I asked her about the painting. She said, sadly, it's in the trash, but she has a really cool story to tell us next time she's on here.
Sadly, it's in the trash.
Yeah.
The painting of Rory.
That okay? That I can't wait. Tell her that we can't wait to hear the story of that, and that's heartbreaking that they put it in the trash.
That's a smooth 10 G's right there.
That was so beautiful.
Library of Alexandria must be.
Oh.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
But that's all I had to say.
That's heartbreaking. That painting is so beautiful. That's just
That is that's just a bummer. But maybe Alexis didn't want it.
I read on Lauren's book. I'm sorry. I read on Lauren's book, and guys will correct me because I haven't read this book in a long time. But she wrote that Alexis took the jail stuff, the jail signs from her room that they have on her room as like memorabilia. She took that with her.
That makes sense.
Lauren wrote that on her book. And you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last day that they were doing they were using her house, Lorelai's house, she took that. Alexis took that with her.
Well, we should definitely ask Valerie like about some of that, people taking things home. I'm curious to know a little bit more about it myself, because this is just sort of what I've known from being on sets, and asking about whether I could take things and et cetera. But, I mean, she was right in the heart of that. I'm sure she had people ask about that stuff all the time and could probably speak to it a little bit more. So when she comes back, we'll have to make sure to remember to just ask her about it. I'm curious to know. Do we shift though? Because I mean, for me, that's like, I just have so much to say, and I feel like we're gonna just talk until the end of the episode, and then we'll be like, well, we never got to Rory and Dean, and I sort of feel like we could probably squeeze in some Rory and Dean in here. I mean, I don't know who wants to go first, but I will definitely say that, like, once again, I'm feeling real good about my theory here that these two are gonna hook up. They're gonna hook up again, and Lindsay's gonna be right around the corner, and then she's gonna come around the corner. And no, I'm kidding about that part, but but it's funny, the idea that Lindsay is just around any corner now is like
wait, John, can we put some kernels on that?
Some kernels? Do we want to bet some kernels on whether or not Rory and Dean hook up?
You've already,
sure.
you already have that bet.
You already.
Oh, you want me to put bets on whether or not Lindsay comes around the corner?
There's just some fan art with like her like lurking behind a. I think there needs to be.
Oh my gosh, we need some fan art with just like pictures of
lurking
Lindsay standing around corner.
Lurking Lindsay.
Maybe she was in the back of that.
That's amazing.
All right. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it, except like, it's just erratic, right? Like like we've got one scene where he's yelling at her because, you know, she's like completely like totally over the, like crossing the line in terms of, I mean, it's like none of her business. He has a wife and a life, and he's got expenses and all these things. Like, it's ridiculous that she's even chiming in her 2 cents on that. But then he's also like completely like flying off the rails there. And then in the next scene, he's like, I'm really sorry. I want to pull you into an alley here and just tell you and she's like, oh no, I'm sorry. It's just like, these two are a mess. And it is heading for a collision, like a bad collision. Like, it just feels like it's headed for a bad collision.
It is red flags everywhere.
Well, and so many boundaries are being broken and crossed, and it's just getting more inappropriate to where they end up in an alley secretly talking, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah, and he mentions that Lindsay said that she doesn't want him to see her anymore, but he said that that's not going to happen. Like, that's, yeah, not cool.
So I think with that whole thing, I've been on one side of this where I've had a guy friend where we've had history. We never dated, but we've had history, and we have been friends. Basically, me and him have been friends for more than half my life. We've known each other since we were like 10, and he had a girlfriend at one point where she kind of did the Lindsay thing where it's like, I don't want you talking to her or anything like that. And we're not in the same state, so it's literally, we can't. She didn't want us talking anymore. And I think that's really stupid, because if someone is friends with another person, take the whole like pent up energy between Dean and Rory and just think about it as if they were just friends and nothing more. I think it's really dumb when girls or guys, it's on both sides, if they say you can't talk to this person that you're friends with just because they're the opposite sex. I think that's really dumb, because you should have enough trust in your partner to be friends with someone and have it and not be worried that it's going to turn into something. I mean, obviously Dean and Rory are very much the exception because we all see what's going on, but I feel like it's really dumb of Lindsay to do that even with their history, because Rory came first. And I think, like I said, it's really dumb that people should stop being friends with someone just because either they have history or that they're the opposite sex, because you should have trust.
But wait, is that why? Is that why she's telling her?
I think it's because Dean didn't tell her. I think it's because Dean didn't tell her that he was still in contact with her.
Yeah, like I would just like to say, just going off of a writing standpoint and just like the character progression of Lindsay has always felt this insecurity when it comes to Rory, because deep down, there is this feeling that Dean still likes Rory. It's even shown in the one scene where Luke is talking to Dean in the arcade, and he's staring at Rory while Luke just asked a simple question, you know. And then when he's drunk, the night before his wedding, he goes, Rory. It's kind of like Lindsay just, I feel like Lindsay's intuition is telling her that Dean still likes Rory, and that's why she's like, don't talk to Rory, don't this, that, and the fourth, and had such a stank attitude towards Rory, because she can feel that the dude still likes her. And the fact that she still stayed with him after Dean got in a fight with Jess, who was dating Rory at the time, it's like, I understand where you're coming from.
That's why Dean proposed, though, is because he had gotten into a fight and she was probably furious, and he probably said to her, no, I want to be with you, so I'll prove it, let's get married.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Sherry, because I feel like that's why too. And it's just, I understand the whole, like, you shouldn't talk to this friend. It seems so trite, you know, but at the same time, that insecurity, or just like that uncomfortable feeling that she has in her gut, has been there since day one. And it's very justified, because it's like Dean what are you doing? You know, like what are you doing? And it's just it's all just kind of a snowball effect. There's so many red flags here, and it really just kind of hurt my heart to see this type of relationship come out this
Dean's
way.
an exception.
I have a question for you, Tasha.
Go for it.
So, a couple questions.
Okay, go for it.
So, do you think that? Okay, I realize.
I won't be offended.
No, I realize I'm talking to somebody who's seen the show. I mean, everybody I'm talking to.
I'll give you an answer without spoiling.
Try and give me an answer from when you remember watching this episode for the first time. Do you think, going back in your past, that Dean is still in love with Rory?
In my dating past, or like when I
No. I'm saying in like back when you saw this for the first time.
Okay.
Would you have said Dean is still into Rory?
Well, as we all know, I started watching this when I was 9. This is season 4, 2004. I would have been 11, but I did start having crushes on guys at this point, so I had some indication of that.
I would say yes, John.
That he liked.
Yeah.
So then here's the next.
Give an answer.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh.
And
give him an answer. It was pretty dry.
I mean, do you think that Dean likes her?
Okay, Chris, do you have an answer for me then?
Yeah, I said I would say yes. He was in love with her still. It was pretty clear, even the first time watching it through.
But wait, hold on. I'm asking Tasha. Tasha, do you think that Dean likes Rory? That's it. Just do you think he has romantic feelings for Rory?
I feel like there's unresolved feelings. At the time, I didn't think like, yeah, he's so in love with her. I felt like there's unresolved feelings because they never really got closure, because Dean was very heartbroken, obviously, but he never really talked about everything after, and it was only Rory who said, I'm sorry for hurting you, blah, blah, blah. So I think there's always going to be unresolved feelings, but at that time, I didn't think that he was still in love with her.
Do you think that he's in love with her now?
Oh, definitely. As I got older,
okay, so then here's my second question. Second question. Do you think Lindsay knows that?
I think she has some indication that there's something still there, because as we both know, this is Dean's like first love, and you never really get over your first love. And so I feel like Lindsay has some indication that, okay, there's something still there. I'm not quite sure. Maybe she has more indication now after
hearing Rory.
Yeah. And so that's probably what prompted her to...
So then it's probably not as simple as Lindsay doesn't want her talking to her because she's the opposite sex, or Lindsay doesn't want her talking to him because they have a past. I would argue Lindsay doesn't want her talking to him and him talking to her because of their present, because right now they are into each other and she can feel it, you know, and so it's like, either you're with me and that means you are not talking to the person that you are clearly in love with, or we're not together anymore. And obviously he's picking that he wants to stay with Lindsay for a variety of reasons that, you know, have clearly nothing to do with love, because he is obviously in love with Rory. But I would just argue that it's not just as, it's true, it is lame when people don't want, when your current, like your current partner simply doesn't want you to talk to your ex just because of the fact that you were together at one time, or not even doesn't want you talking to the opposite sex in general. Like, that's lame. I think I think that's lame. So I'm definitely on your side with that, but I just don't think that that's what's going on here.
And what does he tell Lindsay? He tells Rory, I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to talk to you. But don't we think that he's probably tell Lindsay that, hey, I'm not going to talk to her. So now he's starting to, you know, tell his wife one thing and then tell Rory something else and sneak away with her in an alley.
You know what?
Sorry guys, I'm only jumping
in for good.
Just this one thing, and I'm so tired, I'm going back off. I only came in to bring a therapist perspective one more time.
Give it up.
On this. So there is these marriage researchers who, the Gottmans, and they
have actually really been able to kind of predict a lot of like relationship challenges. And one of the things that they talk about is how if you were to look at any relationship as sort of like a house, like you can bring in other people, you know, into that house, and, you know, everybody is sort of in agreement. Everybody knows, like, you know, what your relationship is with all these people. But the second that one person in that house starts to know more about your relationship than maybe you do, or more about your partner than maybe you do, then you've just created this wall and put your partner on the outside of it. And it's really hard to get back from that. And so I feel like Lindsay, like when she heard Rory over speaking, not only was she, you know, obviously offended by what she was saying, but that was probably like, how in the world does this person know about what's going on in my relationship? You know, Dean hasn't even told me some of these concerns. And so my guess is that's one of the main reasons, like you guys were saying, that she said he couldn't talk to her anymore, because in order to kind of preserve the relationship, a boundary has to be set until that trust can be rebuilt.
There's already a wall. You're saying like there's already a wall that literally went up when Lindsay overheard Rory, but that wall went up between Lindsay and Dean.
Yeah.
And Lindsay is like, okay, that wall needs to be moved. You know, like, you know,
yeah.
like that, that wall needs to be between the two of us and Rory, like, because there's a wall here now, just so you know. That happened, it's here, and the only thing that we can do is decide who's on what side of that wall.
Yes. So sorry, carry on.
No,
By the
thank
way,
you so much,
okay,
Stacey, for that.
Just so you know, Stacey's got an event coming up on Hiatus Week that I really suggest folks attend, because Stacey's going to be breaking down characters from a therapist perspective, which is going to be, I think, really fun and cool.
If I could jump in on this, I would love to,
Please jump in.
Yeah, no, I'm sort of traumatized in a way, because I had a situation with like my best friend who I knew from like 7th grade, and his absolutely insane girlfriend texting me and saying, never talk to us again. She's gone, but that whole part of this situation is like, oh, I have like an instinct to be like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But at the same time, when I really look into this specific situation, it's like, but it's justified, because Dean, I even said it during the episodes, really, really similar to the Richard and Penguin situation. While it hasn't been going on for 40 years, you know, he's been hanging out with, talking to, calling, texting, visiting with Rory without telling his wife. Like, that's not just like your girlfriend, that's your wife. Like, you have a responsibility to build trust and to honor her boundaries and like your relationship. And also Rory, she doesn't need to be talking the way she's talking about Dean, and then being like, oh, Lindsay heard, and now you're ruining his relationship because you are overstepping into his personal affairs. And Dean is being an idiot, because he should be more worried about his marriage than being friends with a girl that he knows he's still in love with. It's just really, you have a good point. I feel like I love Lindsay. Yeah. I love her. She's amazing. And this situation, I don't fault her at all. She's still an amazing character, and she's still I love her. But this is 100% Dean and Rory. They are causing the turmoil. She is just trying to save this relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Just really quick, I just want to jump in because it's 8:34. I'm going to stick around until 8:45, and I know we've got a big storyline that we still need to talk about.
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
As much as I want to keep talking about the Rory and Dean thing, I just have this feeling that that's what this season's gonna like. I have a feeling that the these last few episodes are where that storyline's boiling, and we're gonna have so much more to talk about when it finally boils over, which is likely going to be in the season finale. I'm gonna just say it right here. I don't know if I feel like putting Colonels down, but I'm feeling pretty confident that that's what's gonna happen. And
you sure?
Just FYI,
you're like, if you're sure, you'll put the Colonels down.
You've already put some down. Like, we have that on tape from last.
Oh no!
Oh, snap!
Well,
if you're putting Colonels down, we're totally fine with that.
I've got a lot of Colonels. You guys are my hosting has yielded a lot of Colonels. In fact, I'm thinking maybe of reducing the percentage on hosting because I feel like it might be a little high.
No, we're just starting to don't be taking it down now.
Yeah. Especially with the new feature.
Don't forget the harvest, guys.
Okay, so
especially with the new feature of mementos.
What's up?
Especially with the new feature that you're thinking of for the mementos.
Oh yeah. So I have this new feature that I'm already, like, all day I've been thinking about it, and it's basically like memento like memento erosion.
I have a brown thumb. It'll be dead in 5 seconds.
Oh. So the idea is that, like, after a certain amount of time, the memento will there, like, I'm thinking that there are 3 statuses: wrinkled, cracked, and hot mess. And so wrinkled, after a certain amount of time, your memento will actually look wrinkled, like it will have like a little wrinkled, like some sort of little wrinkled like thing that I'll put over the top of it, and then you'll have to pay to restore it. But if you don't, and then it gets to the next status, like if you just let it slip for long enough, then it'll start getting cracked. And then even worse, if you just let it slide, it'll get to hot mess status, which just, it's like unrecognizable. And then if you let it go long enough, it just is gone forever. And
Jonathan, what?
John, I want to be able to buy plastic versions because I will kill it.
Can we keep original townie though? Because for the people who got original townie, I feel like we should kind of keep that one because that's like how we started.
I'm thinking about how it's going to work. I'm still working it out. I'm going to do something. And like I mentioned before, like I have to come up with ways for the kernels to go away somehow, like things for you to spend them on and whatnot, because if people just hoard them, then they don't end up being anything, right? Like they don't end up having any value at all. And so I'm looking for ways that are fun and funny and interesting. And there's some, I mean, I don't know. Somebody mentioned, Samantha actually mentioned something, she compared them to Tamagotchis, which I think is kind of a
Sean, no. I will kill them.
I was obsessed with Tamagotchis when I was little, so that was really funny.
Anyway,
also,
I'm still thinking about it, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about.
One sec, before we move on, I just want to remind people to harvest your kernels because I forgot and Shari reminded me. So
yeah, harvest your kernels. You've got another 7 minutes before kernel harvesting is done, before the kernels just wither away and die. Floyd is a dangerous individual.
Very, like, it reminds, yeah.
He is a dangerous individual. I knew it when he walked into the house. I knew it the first time I saw him. I knew that that was a surprise when he sued them right there. I didn't think that it was going to happen right there. I thought the scene would end, and then afterwards they would get like the big bomb that he was going to drop on them was. So that was definitely like oof. It made him
always be worrisome of a Gilmore Girls character that doesn't show much emotion.
Yeah.
John, this is Gabby. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I heard you say, Richard's up to something bad or something.
Yeah, and I know why. You know why? Yeah. Because of Floyd's line to him where he said, I'm doing exactly what a Gilmore would do.
Right. So my question to you is, at what point do you think Richard was in on it?
Oh, I think that Richard decided when Digger was in the room pleading to him. I think that.
Agree.
I think that he saw Digger's desperation. He saw Digger at this, like, in this place, and he realized, you know what? I can save this. I know exactly how to do it. I'm going to have to throw this kid under the bus. Like, I think that happened right there. And then he laughed. And then he laughed. We see him sitting there in the chair, like thinking for a second. He's working out how he's going to do it. Then in between there and the scene with Emily, he's already done it. He's probably already called Floyd to ask him to play golf, right? And so he's already figured it all out. And then they work it all out there on the golf course. And what you're seeing is the very final moment of it.
Yeah, I had never thought about it before this watch. So Mike, when you said that, I really wanted to ask you. All right,
absolutely, because he knew Digger was going to go out and try to save their company. He knew Digger wasn't going to try to turn around on him. So he knew that he's got to strike first before he gets, stabbed.
Exactly. And then that scene with Digger, like Digger is just like in a place. He's in this like emotionally raw place but still trying to stay optimistic there in that moment. And you just know he's dead. You just know he's dead. You dead.
It's
the fact that, Diana, you were flashing, Diana.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Digger has the plant that he gets that Lorelai and him talk about in the beginning of the episode. And I think it's really interesting that he has really high hopes for the plant, and then the plant dies. And I think it's just a metaphor for like all of his high hopes. And then I put that in the chat, and Mary commented and just said, it's also like high hopes for, burying the hatchet with his father with the dinner, and it just didn't go at all the way he planned, and it's completely dead. And I just love that they did the plant thing. I'm into it.
Love that plant. I love that plant.
I just wanted to jump in if I could. It's my first time on the couch. Hello, everybody.
Please.
I actually thought that Richard was formulating his plan once he heard that Lorelai was dating Digger. His shock on his face was really, really blatant. And then when they went back to the room and he asked him, how long have you been dating my daughter? And he said 5 months. From that point on, his face was just kind of dead. So I always thought it was once he learned that, Digger was going behind his back and dating his daughter, it was over for him.
Ooh, good point.
But wait, let me just clarify just to make sure I know what you're saying. You're saying that he formulates it after Digger confirms it to him by telling him that he's been with her for 5 months, or he begins formulating it out in the living room when he hears it for the first time?
I think he began kind of formulating it out in the living room. Once he heard that, the shock on his face was just so abrupt. And then by the time he got to the room with Digger, he was just blank. So I figured
he's just like, I mean, in the room, he's yelling at Digger. So like, to me, if you're correct about that, then that would suggest all of that yelling that he's doing at Digger is really more designed to get the information he needs out of Digger for the plan that he's already formulating.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. I can definitely buy that. I mean, it certainly seems interesting. I mean, the thing is that like Richard, what you kind of get from this episode is because they've done a lot of like kind of portraying Richard like ever since he leaves the firm as kind of a little bumbling a bit, kind of trying to get his sea legs again, and and occasionally you sort of feel like he's sort of presented as this goofy old guy who really needs this young guy, even though he thinks that he's this old master that knows better, but that we sort of feel like, yeah, you're kind of past your prime and you need this young guy to do it. But here you really get a sense that like, oh no, Richard is like a master at this kind of stuff, not just at like business, but like at like the ugly side of business. And from the moment that Floyd says that, I'm doing it exactly how Gilmore would, like in that moment, I sort of like everything that Richard's done, like every like nasty thing that he's done in business suddenly like kind of hit me all of a sudden, because you don't see that part of Richard on the show. You only see Richard the family man, and a bit of Richard this like kind of trying to get his his old business self back together again. And so like in that moment, I was like, oof, this guy might be as good as a Floyd. We just have grown to love him, so we don't think about him like that.
Oh yeah, like I'm so glad that both Gabby and Hunter brought up those points with like Richard and what he was thinking about, when the boom happened. Because when I watch that scene and I think of it, it's just kind of like, first of all, Edward Herrmann, such a wonderful actor, because he shows us what's going through Richard's head without telling us what's going through Richard's head. Because it feels as if, like what was said before, he's yelling at Digger to get the information that he needs. He's deciding which option is the best option for his family. And when he finds out that the whole Digger Lorelai thing, he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with you. You're a child. I'm tired of doing childish things. I'm gonna go get my sea legs back. You know what I mean? So it just made so much sense that, at the end of the episode, they're like, and Jason's out, because at the end of that scene that he had with Digger, he was just pretty much done with it.
So here's one more thing that I'll say, and then I'm going to actually start making folks moderators. All I'm thinking now is, how is this going to affect the relationship between Lorelai and Digger? And I'm also suddenly like feeling worried for Digger and his relationship with Lorelai, which is just really interesting, because I began that storyline, absolutely couldn't stand that character, and largely couldn't stand him because of a very specific line that he has, which is about how he wants to screw his own father over and get the glee out of that, right? Now I'm seeing his father, the considerably better at screwing anybody over, and has essentially like just destroyed his own son. And I've just seen an episode where he's like opened his heart to Lorelai, where he's changing. He's on this journey towards potentially being able to sleep in the same bed with her. And now I'm like worried about them. And I am spoiled enough to know that Digger character, I don't believe, is in later seasons of the show. I mean, I don't know if he's in season 5. I hope that he's in season 5, because I really like that character. But now my mind is sort of racing about like what's going to happen to those two.
Put some kernels on it.
Have you considered that maybe the whole butting Jason out of the business started when Jason came to Richard and said, "Hey, I want to be a part of your business"?
Say that again. That pulling Jason out of that Richard actually this whole time has actually been looking to get back and get this young guy who took his job. What is that? What you mean?
Yes.
I don't know. That would be complexity that might be.
I don't think he's that
be a super long game.
That would be a very, very, very long game. Yeah.
That is what a Gilmore would do.
But
They're
then the
so
shock would be
calculated.
so real when he gets told he's being sued. Like Richard was really shocked when Floyd said to him. That's why.
Jessica, can you mute? Sorry, there's background noise.
So if he had been planning that all along, I don't think we would have gotten the same reaction when the lawsuit was dropped on them.
But I feel like him saying, "Are we done with the broad strokes?" means like maybe it was a longer game than
we think.
I think that was just referring to the actual, they had probably been at like the 19th hole already, or.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it. I sort of, and broad strokes, you know, obviously like all, like it felt like it was all about what they had talked about there on the golf course. That was how I interpreted it. But I mean, you know, anything's possible, but it feels like a little bit of the realism is lost for me if I have to really buy that, like, Richard Gilmore is like that incredibly calculating that he can go that long, and also it would just like kind of contradict a lot of like kind of bumbling stuff that I saw with him, where he's like, you know, as he's trying to kind of get his business up and going. And I feel like for me, I feel like this actually made this was the best thing. I know it sounds weird, but this feels like it might have been the best thing that could have happened to Richard, because that put Richard back into the killer mentality that he had once before when he was younger, right? That he sort of lost, which was part, you know, you get the sense as part of, you know, the old lion being sort of retired. And because he's put in this position, the position of like, you know, having to defend his, you know, like all of that sort of brought him back to the kind of fighter that he was probably in his younger days. And so I feel like it took the lawsuit to like, that's just why I feel like it took the lawsuit for him to really get to that place where he suddenly is ready to do whatever he needs to do in order to get back.
Yeah, he was spending too much time with Moby.
Yeah. That
hey,
was
John.
Yeah. Yes.
Before you go, I would just like to say, if it wasn't for Pendleton Lodge, none of this would happen.
If Woody would have gone straight to the police, none of this would have ever happened.
Pendleton,
Ice Cube,
Pendleton, Pendleton, Ice Cube, a lot, Ice Cube.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure to picture for just seeing Pendleton, lot.
Are there emojis that we can create that? I feel like we could build that out of emojis, the correct emojis. Do we have a penny emoji? Do we have a parking lot emoji? We do have Ice Cube emoji, I believe.
Okay, can I actually ask a favor for like the Gilmore Girls community? If anyone's in like the big stuff, like where there's thousands of members, I hope that like with this rewatch, it just gives us more ideas to make more iconic Gilmore Girls gifs, because there's so many that are outside of Coffees and Boys, and the Emily Gilmore ones alone.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Cheese House coming at some point with like a young Lane and young Rory popping their heads out of like little cheese holes.
Cheese.
Yeah,
we
remember
don't
they
have pennies, but we have pins.
Pins.
That's the closest we got, like pins.
Oh, we've got. Oh, you're talking about the emojis. No pennies.
Yeah.
No pennies.
We can have Lorelai dancing
Pin.
on an anvil.
Penny. Pin. A pin. An eye. Pin eye.
No.
No, do we have a knee? Do we have a knee? We have a knee. We have a knee, right? We have a knee. Pin knee.
We have knees, yes.
Yeah, pin knee. Do we have lint? No, we don't. No, we have lint.
Violin.
Oh, Penny Lynn, and then we'd have to get rid of the Vio somehow.
Well, mine is VIO.
All right, I'm going to let you all go. By the way, Lindsay, I think that your theory could totally be. It just for me, it feels like it feels for me a little more realistic that it would be right there at the in the office. But that's just me.
I have just watched the show so many times.
Yeah.
I think of every theory.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, cool that you can theorize. I feel like I'm the only one theorizing right now. And everyone else is
the only one who hasn't watched it.
and everyone's just judging my theories and trying to convince me to put kernels down on them.
Yeah.
Except maybe she.
I feel like I'm now starting to feel like a lot of my theories are wrong because you want me to put kernels down so badly that like
They could be correct, and we may be giving you our kernels. What if we're trying to be nice?
Fair enough.
Wait a minute. There was never, ever the suggestion that we pay him kernels.
Oh,
The suggestion was always he would pay us kernels.
a one-sided bet. Awesome. You guys are great.
He has all the kernels already. He doesn't need ours.
All right.
I did. I had to send him kernels last night because he accidentally.
I accidentally sent it to I had sent it to Shelly, but I meant to send it to Sherry. Okay, I'm off tomorrow. We're back at 7 p.m. for the next one, and then on Wednesday back for another, and then we've got a day off, and we don't have a day off. I mean, Remarcus is going to get to a place where there's no days off. We've got a Canada Day event on Thursday that Mary's hosting. And then on Friday, we've got a double feature with double cast sets. Well, Sean will be on one, and then Keiko and Todd on the earlier one. I just posted some social posts about the Keiko and Todd one. I'm probably going to post some stuff on the Sean one maybe tomorrow. That one that I posted on Instagram of Todd and Keiko and I is getting a lot of engagement, so I might boost it just to see if maybe we can get some more awareness on the project.
Thanks for doing that.
Hello, guys. As long as I can get Keiko and Gina to laugh, I don't care what happens. And if it makes Remarcus bigger, then I am happy for you, John. And it's going to be a really fun Friday night.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get Keiko to laugh.
I don't know. I'm a little worried. I don't think I got Todd to laugh.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
I'll try again next
you
time.
did. You said you didn't get Todd to laugh. You got.
I didn't. I don't think so. But it's okay. Next time.
Well, you have another chance. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching with me.
Good night.
Good night.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, John.
Good night, John.
Good night. You know, we just had some like guy come in, like whisper hello, and then realize that this probably wasn't what he thought it was, and leave. It's always like